Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks
Hi
for
everyone.
turning up.
Numbers still going up, Sharif. So
Yeah,
38.
we'll just give it a minute, I think, to allow a few more people in. Okay. So I think we've got a decent turnout already. I think we're good to get started. All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to today's Cloud Talk. This is on the ACP shared responsibility model, presented by Lee, who you can see. He'll introduce himself fully in a moment, but as is typically the case with these Cloud Talks, just want to have a couple of notes before we start. If you have any questions, the Q&A box is open and the chat is also there for you to drop them in. We'll keep track of all these questions and save some time at the end with a little Q&A section where you can go through all of these. So please do leave your questions in the Q&A box or the chat. This session will also be recorded, so the materials will be made available at a later point on the Cloud Training portal. I'll add a link to that towards the end of this talk into the chat. And we'll also share the recording on WorkVivo page, on our WorkVivo page, and any other relevant materials I'll also post a link to in the chat towards the end of the call and throughout as well. So with that said, let's get started. Lee, you can take it away.
Cool. Hi everyone. So I'm Lee. I work on the Cloud Transformation Program, leading on the design of the Azure Cloud Platform operating model. So thank you for sparing some time from your busy schedules this morning to attend this Cloud Talk on accountabilities. This is for the Azure Cloud Platform, formerly known as the Strategic Landing Zone, or SLZ. So transforming Bupa into a cloud-first organization requires continued employee commitment in all aspects of cloud management, and having clear and aligned responsibilities and expectations is important to employee commitment as well. Capturing roles and responsibilities can be done through various frameworks and models. Most of you will be familiar, for example, with a RACI matrix. So the idea of a shared responsibility has become synonymous with the rise of cloud computing, which I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And that's the model we're using on the Azure Cloud Platform to clarify actions and obligations of involved parties. So the aim of the shared responsibility model is to help avoid gaps and overlaps in cloud management and avoid assumptions being made about who is responsible for what. So what I'm going to take you through today is not the finished article, it's an evolving piece, but it's intended to give you a general sense of responsibility between the Azure Cloud Platform team and platform consumers. So first off, in terms of the agenda, I'll begin with some context setting and give you a very high level view of the operating model design so far for the Azure Cloud Platform. If there are any subjects you're interested in, then you can reach out to me at any point on that. And then on to item 2, I'll give you a bit more scene setting on the shared responsibility work so far. Before we get into item 3, I'll do a deeper dive into roles and responsibilities. Today's discussion on shared responsibility is designed to be non-technical. You might, as we go through it, encounter some sort of cloud-related terms and phrases that are unfamiliar to you. If there's anything that needs clarification, again, reach out to me after the talk, pop it into the chat, get in contact with Sharif, and we'll make sure that you've got a clear understanding of the concepts discussed. We've got a lot to cover, in fact, and I haven't rehearsed this, so let's to stay on track. And I kindly ask that you post your questions into the Q&A, put it into the chat. Hopefully, we'll have time at the end to answer any of those questions. There's always the chance after the talk as well. And again, just reach out to me directly if there's anything that you want to talk to me about. Okay, so an overview of the ACP operating model. So What is an operating model? It's a coming together of a number of components, and those will transform Bupa to a desired future state by aligning its products, its people, process and governance with cloud capabilities and best practice. The operating model isn't a one-time upfront piece of work based on fixed structures or processes or roles. It's a continuous journey and requires constant adaptation and evolution. So everything you see, again, to reiterate the point around shared responsibility, is not fixed, it's evolving. And if you look at the wheel in front of you then, beginning with platform designs in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a number of artifacts that are to do with defining business capabilities and cloud platform solution designs that align to business goals and product plans. All of these artifacts, by the way, are available on Confluence. More on that in a little bit. Moving down then, sort of going anti-clockwise, accountability related artifacts are to do with clarifying the actions and obligations of business teams, including the cloud platform teams. Obviously, that's what we're focusing on today. Governance, risk, security and control artifacts are about managing and securing cloud operations in a compliant way. Consumer and product is about consumer experience management and the seamless integration of new users onto the platform. Moving on to service delivery, that covers a range of topics really, but it's about providing information to consumers about platform services. It's about how we're introducing services into production and providing support through a cloud operations support model as well. And then finally, performance and cost, primarily concerned around embedding a FinOps framework. It might be in the future that we do specific cloud talks on any of these topics if you're particularly interested. And yeah, just to say that there's a ton of content on our Azure Cloud Platform Confluence site. For those that have got Confluence, again, reach out to myself or Chris Young. We can give you access to Confluence and you can start exploring the content. For those of you who don't have Confluence, or if you just want a good read, there's a Word document available as well. You can get access to that via Confluence, or again, reach out to me and I'll send a copy on to you if you like. Okay, so this is where I get a little bit technical and talk about the makeup of the Azure Cloud Platform that we're currently building and the support functions that sit around it. So again, this is just the context setting. We're not going to be getting into the detail or the inner workings of the platform. For those of you who are interested in services and resources that we're offering, we do have a service catalog. Again, you can find that on our Confluence site. So that'll give you a lot of information about resources and services that we're looking to make available. If you're interested in technical designs and explanation of the platform functionality, you can also find information about all of that on our Confluence site as well. So, beginning on the left bottom hand side of the diagram, the Azure Cloud Platform is built on the principles of a hub and spoke architecture. So that's where a central hub of services and individual spoke services for specific applications are made available. And that's typical of kind of efficient cloud platform design in large cloud environments. Broadly speaking, it consists of an infrastructure tier and a platform tier. So down at the bottom there, the infrastructure tier is managed by Microsoft Azure, and that offers fundamental computing resources, so servers, storage, networking, abstracted as virtual machines or containers, and Azure handles maintenance, upgrades, and security of that underlying infrastructure. Platform tier is what we build on the infrastructure tier that provides environments, services, and resources for platform consumers using infrastructure as code principles. So the core platform and application landing zones make up the platform tier. The core platform setup is made up of foundational infrastructure and shared services. application landing zones are dedicated environments for our platform consumers. They're vended through an automated process initiated through ServiceNow. And you'll see on the right-hand side as well, I mentioned accelerator services. They're designed to simplify how platform consumers interact with Azure services. There are a lot of them, enabling them to independently manage and deploy Azure services within their own dedicated subscription. And just to quickly mention, to help deploy and manage Azure services, we're using Azure Verified Modules where they're available. They're pre-built, standardized infrastructure as code modules that follow best practices and guidelines set by Microsoft, but we're not going to get into that today. Moving to the right-hand side, we have 3 service teams. The Cloud Platform Development team. So they're responsible for the designing, deploying, and managing cloud services and infrastructure. A Platform Customer Success team focusing on the platform customer's journey and experience with the cloud platform, and really there to support them throughout their platform lifecycle and enable them to get the most out of their cloud solutions. And the Cloud Operations team as well. So they manage daily cloud infrastructure operations, they monitor performance, handle incidents, queries, and address operational issues. So those 3 teams there that make up the core platform team are teams that I'll be mentioning quite often through when I get into the service boundary diagram and shared responsibilities. And just to finish off, as well as standing up a customer success team to support platform consumers, we're building a knowledge base as well. So that's really crucial in supporting consumers throughout their journey, enabling self-help and self-service, and facilitating continuous learning as well. So hopefully that wasn't too technical. We're now getting into sort of section 3, an overview of the shared responsibility, followed by then a deeper dive. So I thought it might be useful again to talk about the origins of shared responsibility. Not everyone's familiar with it. So for those of you who have worked in a cloud environment before, it started off as a security and compliance framework to define the roles of cloud service providers and their customers in securing cloud environments. Shared responsibility became necessary with the rise of cloud computing. So that's where data and applications began to be hosted off premises. And that meant the traditional boundaries of network security no longer applied. So the main service providers and cybersecurity companies describe shared responsibility and the need for one in more or less the same way. And you can see those CSPs and cybersecurity firms on the diagram in front of you. So they describe it as a framework that describes how the security obligations and responsibilities of a cloud service are divided, a way of organizing roles and tasks of different teams or functions in an organization, normally aligned to and serve a common goal and common set of objectives. And crucially, it's a way of helping customers avoid gaps and overlaps in security. And if you have gaps and overlaps in security, that can lead to vulnerabilities or compliance issues. So you really want to make roles and responsibilities as clean and as clear as possible. So we're taking the idea of shared responsibility and doing things a little bit differently here. So we're expanding the scope to ensure that the overall cloud ecosystem is not only secure, but well managed. And that will ensure effective, efficient, and compliant operation of our cloud services and infrastructure. And that's really shown in the blue part of the diagram here. And that's what we're going to be talking more about in today's cloud talk. So we'll be breaking the blue part down into 3 broad roles, each which contribute in some way to delivering a secure and well-managed cloud ecosystem. So we have the Azure Cloud Platform team, that's consisting of the 3 teams that I mentioned earlier. the platform development team, the customer success team, and the cloud operations team. They are overall responsible for building, maintaining, supporting, and optimizing the cloud platform and services that support the creation and management of cloud-based workloads. The platform consumer, they specialize in developing applications designed to run on the cloud platform using cloud native or made for cloud technologies and practices. And then we have enterprise functions, various teams, both internal to Bupa and external, that support the maturity, operations, governance, protection, integration, automation of the cloud ecosystem. So balancing the technical solutions with compliance and best practice. And just to go into shared responsibility and how we've decomposed the top level view, as you've just seen, into a set of tasks. So again, this sort of task level shared responsibility is available on our Confluence site. It's not nailed down. We're going to be putting it to the test when we start to get live customers on the platform. It will evolve over time as cloud technology and services mature, as Bupa's understanding of them deepen. So yeah, we'll take that iterative approach and ensure that the shared responsibility keeps pace and stays relevant with changes in organizational capability. It's going to need updating, version controlling to ensure that it remains relevant and in line with expanded services and infrastructure as we go as well. So like I said, the proof will be in the pudding when there are real consumers that we have on our new Azure platform. As it stands, we're on track to make non-prod environments available to platform consumers by mid-end of this month. The consumers who don't need accelerators and production environments can be vended in August time, again, for those who don't need accelerators. Again, if you want more information on our roadmap, that's all available on Confluence as well, but reach out if you'd like a bit more information. So most of us will have produced or maintained or seen a RACI. In my opinion, they're great, but they can be a little difficult to consume sometimes. What I try to do in creating the shared responsibility view is make things a little bit easier to digest by creating what I'm calling a service boundary diagram. And we're going to be staying at that level today. So you can see on the right-hand side of this diagram, the service boundary view that we're going to be going through. I mentioned at the start of the presentation, the emphasis of shared responsibility work at the moment is on the division of responsibilities between the cloud platform team and cloud platform consumers. This is where we see a lot of direct interaction and dependency on the cloud platform team and adapting cloud native practices and managing new responsibilities in the cloud environment. And clear responsibilities between the two groups also helps in the efficient allocation of resources, and it creates a scalable framework that can adapt to changing needs and workloads. There are a lot of other benefits around cost management and budgeting, ensuring platform consumers and central teams adhere to security and compliance standards, and so on. And that all comes down to very clear roles and responsibilities. Shared enterprise functions will play a key role in providing holistic governance and ensuring the entire platform operates within required standards and regulations, that it's cost effective. However, we see their responsibilities remaining relatively stable, albeit with some adjustments to accommodate cloud-specific requirements. We will be engaging with those teams as we onboard platform consumers and put our operating model and shared responsibilities to the test. And they're going to be very much part of the conversation when it comes to defining governance, risk, security, and compliance processes within the Azure Cloud Platform environment. Okay, next slide. Just take a drink. Okay, we're into section 3. Okay, the service boundary diagram that you see in front of you at the moment, that's a visual tool. Like I've mentioned, it simplifies and outlines the responsibilities shared between the central cloud platform team and platform consumers. So it's a way to delineate really aspects of service of the overall cloud ecosystem that are managed by the central cloud team and by the consumer. And additionally, the service boundary diagram attempts to kind of illustrate a platform lifecycle from platform onboarding on the left-hand side through platform development and configuration, platform operations and maintenance, and then platform optimization. So over the next couple of slides, I'm going to go through each part of this in bite-sized chunks to make it a bit easier for you to digest and understand. So first up, we have platform onboarding and enablement, which is in the sort of top left-hand corner of the overall service boundary diagram that you saw on the previous page. So the initiate service provisioning step in the top left there involves the platform consumer completing preliminary service introduction steps. They'll express their interest in the Azure Cloud Platform, provide some initial information through the Bright Ideas platform that we've set up, speaking with the Azure Cloud Platform customer success team as well about their outline requirements, and working with them to develop a solution design document for their cloud-enabled application, and getting approval of their designs from the technical design authority as well. It's then that the platform consumer can request their application landing zone environments and services by submitting a request for their dedicated environment and cloud services using ServiceNow. So we're in the process of creating that form at the moment to capture all of that information. Environments and services are automatically provisioned and made accessible to consumers through their Azure portal. Now, it may be that consumers require specialized accelerator services that are not available. So the customer success team will manage the demand for new services, prioritize these requests, and raise a service demand into the platform development team to build the necessary infrastructure as code modules. That might mean a delay whilst the services are being built, but that doesn't stop the automated vend process that I've mentioned. Once the accelerator is ready, a notification is sent to the platform consumers for them to pull the new accelerator module from a centralized registry, integrate that into their workflow, and deploy their dedicated application landing zone environments. Again, a little bit of technical kind of cloud jargon there. Reach out if any of that sort of vernacular doesn't make sense. So demand management isn't just about responding to requests. The customer success team will also proactively engage with business units to understand their strategic goals, anticipate their cloud needs, and planning for long-term cloud adoption that aligns with available resources. And for those platform consumers that have workloads hosted on Azure platforms already, workload migration is also an important aspect of demand management. So the customer success team and platform consumers will work together to develop migration plans that consider various service requirements, dependencies, potential risks, amongst other things, and practical kind of resource capabilities of the Azure platform. And what I'm saying there is that effective demand management also means ensuring there is sufficient capacity to meet current and future demands. So that's gathering specific capacity information from various sources like available cloud resources, upcoming features, services, roadmaps, and enhancements planned for development. Cloud operations too will need to prepare themselves to support the new platform consumers by understanding new features or services required by new consumers, or if they have specific needs and requirements, evaluating current operational capacity and identifying any gaps, creating and updating incident response plans, and handle potential issues that may arise. So it's really getting ready for that new demand coming onto the platform. Moving back to the platform consumer swim lane at the top, as part of the setup of their vended environments, there are a number of tasks that platform consumers should make to ensure that their environment meets their expectation and behaves as expected. So they should validate resources to confirm all resources are provisioned as requested and expected, and that the IAC infrastructure as code modules are correctly applied. They'll need to verify the IAM settings, checking they're implemented correctly and align with security policies. And platform consumers will ensure environment components can communicate effectively and to comprehend and verify security and compliance policies, run tests that validate the environment meets functional and non-functional requirements. That sounds complicated. There's again, to emphasize the support that's going to be available to platform consumers through the customer success team. And there'll be support available through FAQs, troubleshooting guides. There's training as well. Training materials will be available, webinars, runbooks, self-help material. So we want to make that onboarding and setup process, one, as seamless and straightforward as possible, but two, we want to make sure that platform consumers have the support to sort of comprehend the environments that they're getting and get set up as quickly as possible. Okay, so this is where we get into really platform development and the responsibilities of the cloud platform development team to build and manage a robust, resilient, secure and compliant and innovative platform that support various platform consumers. So the platform team will firstly capture, refine, prioritize and plan platform work, like requests for new services, platform improvements, continuous improvement fixes or compliance-driven work. And that will be managed and made transparent through a product roadmap. Again, we have one, it's available on Confluence if you'd like to see it, and a product backlog, which we hold on our ADO board. So it also has the responsibility in architecting the platform, so designing the platform structure to ensure it's scalable, reliable, meets the needs of the organization, but also aligning designs with modern platform engineering standards and best practices. For example, like automating as many processes as possible, integrating security into every aspect of the platform, embracing cloud native principles, implementing observability practices and using DevOps tools like infrastructure as code and CI/CD pipelines. So we'll integrate the platform with enterprise shared services like Sentinel for continuous security monitoring, Apptio Cloudability for cost management, and platform development is also about offering common shared resources like security, compliance, monitoring, and cost management, and also CI/CD pipelines out of the box that the platform consumers can use straight away. Platform validation and testing is about ensuring that the automated subscription vending process works as expected and new subscriptions are created and configured correctly. So we're in the process of defining our behave test framework, but it'll likely mean things like testing firewall rules, ensuring that the pipelines are operational, validating IP address management, and ensuring all services are on private endpoints, so on and so forth. It's also concerned about making sure that new accelerator services and updates are reliable and meet quality standards before deployment. And that means testing and validating IAC modules for Azure services and ensuring that Terraform code is well formatted, validated and secure and compliant prior to its release as well. In the future, we'll look to do more. We'll look to do non-functional testing, also performance testing to assess the platform's responsiveness, stability and scalability under various conditions. Load testing to evaluate how the platform performs under expected and peak load conditions, and stress testing. Security and compliance testing then is an important part of NFR testing. That includes security code reviews, penetration testing, vulnerability scanning, and that's in the context about identifying vulnerabilities in the code before deploying during build time. And security and compliance testing is also about verifying that the platform adheres to relevant regulations and standards and ensuring that the data protection practices comply with data protection laws and policies. Managing platform security is a broad topic. It's a really important topic, and it involves a comprehensive set of activities aimed at protecting the platform from various threats and ensuring compliance with security standards and best practice. And for us, that's taking a secure by design approach by defining security principles and requirements based on industry and BUPA standards and incorporating those into the platform architecture design. That often means threat modeling to identify potential security threats and vulnerabilities early in the design phase, implementing secure coding practices, and conducting regular code reviews to identify and fix vulnerabilities as they're identified. It also means things like ensuring that all configurations are secure and regularly reviewed for compliance, implementing continuous security monitoring. It all means that it's ensuring that everyone understands their role and responsibility in maintaining security as well, which again is all to do with shared responsibility. So a key aspect of the cloud platform team's responsibility is to ensure that data is not stored persistently on the platform, and that will align to the principles of data minimization, privacy by design, and we'll look to run automated scans of the infrastructure to make sure that the data is not improperly stored as well. It also has a job on access control management, so that's implementing and managing IAM policies to control who can access the platform and what actions they can perform, in defining role-based access control, or RBAC, that defines and enforces roles and permissions to ensure platform users have an appropriate level of access. It looks to enforce compliance through management groups and Azure policy, and make sure that the platform adheres to relevant policy and standards. So just to finish off, the platform development team will build and sustain infrastructure as code accelerator services. They're designed to make it easier for platform consumers to independently manage and deploy their Azure services in their vended subscriptions. So where Microsoft have published Azure verified modules, again, if you want a bit more information on that, reach out. They are, put simply, ready to use infrastructure as code modules that align with Microsoft's guidelines and best practices. So if they're available, the team will use them. Otherwise, the team will create the Terraform modules themselves. And then continuing with the innovation theme, the platform development team will explore new technologies and innovations to enhance the platform and conduct research and development to stay ahead of industry trends. So it's not just responding to demand, it's looking sort of taking an outside-in view of what's going on and bringing new technologies and innovations into the organization. And finally, I've made the point about sort of the importance of content and documentation. So developing a knowledge base and comprehensive documentation around platform features, and a range of self-help resources like FAQs and runbooks is an important part of platform development as well. Okay, so that was a sort of a big chunk of what the platform development team are responsible for. So another goal of, and I've mentioned about kind of modern platform engineering, is to enable platform consumers to customize their environments and services. So it's not just the platform team vending out environments and services and they're locked down. We recognize that consumers want to customize services within set boundaries to meet specific needs. And to make this process as simple as possible by abstracting away the complexity of the underlying platform. So that means that platform consumers can concentrate on developing and running their applications and sort of taking that cognitive load away from them in not having to worry about platform infrastructure. So configure and maintain access control in the top left-hand corner there. That's to do with platform consumers assigning specific roles and who has access to various cloud resources, and what level of permissions they have. And that will be according, of course, to the overall IAM and RBAC framework that set by the cloud platform team. We've still got to work out what modifications platform consumers can make to their environments themselves and what modifications need to be raised as a change request for review and approval before they're implemented. To ensure that those changes don't have an impact on security and compliance and overall system stability. So autonomous changes will tend to be low risk changes. I don't know, perhaps to do with scaling of resources, modifying non-critical settings, whereas higher level risks that require review and approval might require or include network configuration changes or changes that could impact policy guardrails. Like I said, there's work to be done there at the moment, but we'll make sure that we'll put the right level of governance and change management around the ability to make changes in that regard. Accelerators will come as customizable IAC templates for common infrastructure components that include parameters and variables that platform consumers can adjust to meet their specific needs. So that makes the customization relatively straightforward. If platform consumers want to make changes to the actual Terraform module itself, rather than just the parameters, then that would certainly need to come through to the cloud platform team as a change request. And as part of their subscription vend, platform consumers will have access to pre-configured monitoring tools designed to help them monitor and alert on their security posture, operational performance, cost and compliance. So platform consumers will be able to adjust monitoring and alerting configurations or set their own conditions and thresholds. Again, if platform consumers need help configuring their environments, customizing their IAC services, then support will be available, be it through training, the self-help material that I've mentioned, or more personalized support through the customer success team. So customer success, and that's something I've mentioned quite a few times, and it, for good reason, it's a key aspect of our Azure Cloud Platform operating model and shared responsibility. It's essential for creating a positive platform consumer experience, deepening cloud knowledge and knowledge of cloud and DevOps practices in business units, ultimately leading to their gradual independence and confidence. And they're very, very important in ensuring that cloud technology is being used effectively. So it's an overarching function that supports platform consumers throughout their entire journey. So it's not specific to any of the shared responsibility stages I've mentioned. It spans across all of them, and there to ensure a seamless and positive experience. So in essence, customer success is an ongoing effort that ensures platform consumers are supported, satisfied, and successful at every stage of their interaction with the platform. So to do that, there are a number of user-centric activities that they'll need to perform, offering continuous support throughout the platform lifecycle, including onboarding and setup that I've mentioned, configuration, monitoring and management, and optimization through various channels is one such activity, as is developing, delivering training programs, webinars, and workshops to help customers maximize their use of the platform. Some of you may have already attended some cloud training courses and talks like this one, and we'll continue to produce content, educational content and training content for you. And really that comes together as a comprehensive knowledge base, which will contain a lot of educational and instructional content. Customer success will also perform regular health checks to monitor how consumers are using the platform. Things like feature adoption, engagement levels, comprehension. Health checking also means anticipating potential issues that could impact customer satisfaction and implementing preventative measures, solutions to address identifying risks before they become problems. So really working in partnership with platform consumers to make sure that they're getting the most out of the Azure Cloud Platform offering. Experience monitoring then, that involves tracking consumer interactions and satisfaction levels through direct conversations, surveys, feedback, and using that information to recommend continuous improvements and enhancements. Really important part of customer success management, as they are in effect an advocate for the consumer. So that they act as a liaison, if you like, between the platform consumers and the platform development team, and ensure their needs and all of their feedback is understood, interpreted, and prioritized, and really promote customer success into the cloud platform development team and into the wider business to highlight the platform's value. And finally, success planning means proactively working with platform consumers to review progress, adjust plans, and address any challenges, and working with them to create tailored plans and how consumers achieve their goals. So I touched on security and compliance testing during build time earlier. Runtime security and compliance management is also a critical aspect of platform management. So from a security point of view, it means identifying threats and vulnerabilities in the underlying platform and services, detecting non-compliant configurations and remediating those, collecting security information, and detecting and responding to and remediating platform security events. So it means generating alerts for potential security incidents and mitigating threats quickly. And it means using log data to investigate and understand the root cause of security incidents. So a real common theme here in that security and compliance really sort of pervades through the sort of the life cycle, the design and development and management of the infrastructure. From a compliance point of view, it means maintaining detailed logs of all activities and changes within the platform, which can be audited for compliance, and continuously monitoring the platform for compliance with policies and standards and framework. Managing platform disaster recovery is also a key ongoing platform security and compliance activity. yes, it involves operational aspects, of course, but disaster recovery is crucial for compliance with data protection regulations and ensuring the security and availability of data in case of an incident as well. So that's something that we're working on. Platform security and operational management is also about overall platform performance, financial management, and service quality. That will mean monitoring the platform's performance and health using automated tools and implementing performance tuning. Manage platform costs that we have as well encompasses a broader range of financial management activities, including budgeting, forecasting, cost tracking, and implementing cost saving measures for the overall platform infrastructure. So that's something that we're really getting into now with our new Apptio Cloudability tool. So working very closely with our total cost of ownership team and Apptio Cloudability to design a FinOps framework and onboard and implement sort of a market-leading cost management and optimization tool in Cloudability. Service level management is also a key aspect of ongoing monitoring and management of the platform. That ensures that the platform meets agreed upon internal service levels and includes reporting on SLA performance as well. Regular platform reporting then is essential for monitoring performance, ensuring security and compliance, managing costs, meeting service levels. We've not defined the scope of these reports yet, but they'll likely show really important operational metrics like uptime, availability, resource utilization, system health, bunch of stuff. And it's really important to not only show how we're performing and being very transparent about that, but kind of giving an indication of future performance and technical recommendations for improving the platform based on those insights as well. And just to finish off, the cloud platform operations team will respond to and manage incidents and outages to do with the underlying platform infrastructure. And they'll also address simple technical queries from platform consumers, providing guidance and support to resolve these issues. This is different to what I've mentioned around customer success. So issues that the operations team will deal with tend to be queries to do with the underlying infrastructure, such as server performance, network issues, storage problems that are affecting the overall performance and health of the platform. Complex issues we see being escalated to the customer success team, or issues that are to do with individual consumer configurations, requests to optimize platform services will tend to get escalated to the customer success team as well. Okay, so whilst the platform operations team are responsible for the ongoing security and compliance of the underlying platform infrastructure, platform consumers are responsible for ensuring the security and compliance of their own cloud environments. And they'll do that by managing access controls, protecting data, and adhering to security policies. They will be encouraging of consumers to use the security and compliance tools provided to them as part of their subscription. And that will help them monitor and manage security events, manage threats and vulnerabilities, and respond to security incidents. Likewise, consumers will be responsible for the health and performance of their own cloud environments. And that will mean tasks like checking the performance of their applications and services, using monitoring tools available to them, again, like Azure Monitor and the Central Ops Operations Log Analytics Warehouse. It'll mean tracking key metrics such as response times, resource utilization, error rates, so many things that are done by application teams today. Applying updates and patches to their environments and ensuring they're up to date is also a really important aspect of health and performance management. So in terms of, just to get into that a bit more detail, in terms of managing updates, the platform development team have a structured and systematic approach to patching and updating, and that will help maintain consistency and stability across the entire Azure Cloud Platform. And that includes updates to landing zone environments that the platform consumers have, and updates to accelerator services. And there are differences in the approach between managing updates for the two. And just to go into that in a bit more detail, because I know that this is often a popular subject. Landing zone updates then will be managed centrally by the Cloud Platform team to ensure consistency and control across all hub and spoke subscriptions. Updates will be automatically applied to spoke subscriptions through CI/CD pipelines, and that will streamline the deployment. And a central platform team, release engineer, will be appointed with specialized expertise and knowledge of the infrastructure to manage those updates. They'll make sure that the updates are applied correctly and efficiently. So there'll be nothing that the platform consumers need to do other than agreeing on the timing for upgrading to the latest tag in that regard. So that's specific to landing zone updates. Updates to accelerator services, there'll be a bit more to do, more of a shared responsibility, where the platform team updates the platform branch. Platform consumer merges these updates with their main branch and manages their own deployments. There's more flexibility to integrate updates according to specific needs and their schedules and timelines. And because they're more familiar with the application, they can tailor the updates, again, by updating the Terraform variables and parameters that I've mentioned to their unique requirements. So although this particular approach requires more coordination between the platform team and platform consumers to ensure updates are merged and deployed correctly, the risk is lower since accelerators are not as critical as the core landing zone. So managing updates will also include major, minor, and sort of security patches to make sure that we're responding to and mitigating vulnerabilities as well. The Cloud Platform team will also publish detailed release notes, ensuring these notes are easily accessible and searchable. So information on the release notes, it will include a summary of changes, bug fixes and improvements, and we'll make announcements using channels that you use every day, say email, Teams. And as well as managing platform updates, there are other change management activities that the Cloud Platform development team will perform, such as acceptance of new cloud services into production. So we're working with the Service Lifecycle Management team on that, keeping information about cloud services and resources up to date, including the service catalog that I'd mentioned at the start of the meeting, and configuration management databases as well. So all of that is part of kind of the change management activities that are going on and supporting continuous deployment of our services. Okay, we're on the home stretch. I think we're almost out of time, are we, Sharif? Minute to go?
Yeah, about 5 minutes or so to go.
5 minutes, okay. So moving on to then the final stage, platform optimization. So under the collective banner of continuous improvement, the cloud operations team have responsibility for toil removal. So that's identifying, eliminating kind of repetitive manual tasks through automation to streamline operations, and addressing and resolving technical debt as well to improve platform stability and performance. You may ask, why would there be any technical debt if we're looking to build sort of modern, automated sort of platforms up front? It's a common challenge in my experience, even in well-automated and modern DevOps environments. So it's important to recognize and address it proactively and maintain the health and performance of the platform. For instance, that might be ensuring best practices and coding standards are followed consistently, periodically refactoring code to improve it. And it's often a good idea for the platform teams to maintain a backlog of technical debt items and prioritize those along with new features and improvements as well. Implementing performance tuning based on monitoring data and feedback and analyzing and optimizing platform infrastructure. Resource usage to reduce costs is also an important aspect of continuous improvement. And consumers may want to optimize their own cloud environments and services. So moving to the sort of right-hand side of the picture in front of you. I mentioned earlier that we've got a bit of work to do about what modifications platform consumers can make to their own environments themselves, and which may require review and approval because they are high-risk changes. Regardless, there will be optimizations that platform consumers will want to make, be it performance-related optimizations or optimizations to improve, say, security posture. It may be that adding new accelerator services, which platform consumers can do at any point, can enhance the performance of application workloads or even enable faster deployment. Faster development and deployment of new features. And it might be in the future, who knows, when infrastructure as code becomes more user-driven and the process for creating and managing IAC modules becomes simpler, platform consumers can create their own reusable templates without needing deep expertise of infrastructure as code. And that's some way into the future at the moment, but it's an aspiration. Conducting experiments and proof of concepts in a sandbox environment that's already available will allow platform consumers to test new configurations or services, say fine-tune performance settings in a safe place as well. And finally, optimizing cloud costs and implementing sustainability initiatives are a crucial responsibility for platform consumers and the central platform team alike. And that might include things like adjusting the size of cloud resources to match actual usage, avoiding over-provisioning, implementing auto-scaling, or minimizing idle resources. So FinOps and being cost-effective and sustainable is a real sort of key driver in what we're doing here as well. So we're done, and I've hit the hour more or less. There's a lot there. I'm not sure what time we'll have, Sharif, now for Q&As, or if they've only been posted in the chat. It might be an idea that I sort of have a look at those and pick those up, sort of post the Cloud Talk. And like I said, if anyone's got any questions, queries, they need clarifications on anything that you've heard today, reach out and I'll do my best to help.
Yeah, I think there was only one in the Q&A box, I believe, from Bavin. How many lower environments are planned? When is prod environment likely to be available for consumers? So I think you can just answer that one quickly, and maybe any others we can just pick up after.
Yeah, okay. So I've mentioned Sandbox, sort of non-prod. So there'll be a number of non-prod environments that are available. You can request more than one, depending on kind of your route to live and a production environment. I think I might have mentioned in the presentation. So we're looking to roll out the non-prod or make the non-prod environments available in the next sprint. So that will be kind of mid-ish this month. When I say make available, that there won't be accelerator services. So it'll be available for consumers not requiring accelerator services. And then I think I mentioned the production environment will be vendable from August time.
Okay. Perfect. So I've dropped the sources for all the Cloud Talk recordings and where this one will be posted shortly. So you can have a look at those links. I also dropped a feedback form link as well. You guys would have seen the poll that popped up on your screens. These are really helpful for us in planning Cloud Talks and just figuring out what it is you guys want to hear more of, and also kind of optimizing these presentations as well. So we'd really appreciate your feedback if you could click the link that I sent in the chat. But if you have any specific questions to this Cloud Talk for Lee, you can post them in chat or you can email Lee. You can also email myself or anything you post in chat, I will pick up on, and we'll be going back over those questions, and we'll reach back out to get some of those answers and follow-ups as well. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, I think we're good for today. So thank you, Lee, for the presentation.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Right. Bye, everyone.